Looks like the Red Sox are extremely interested in bringing in more right-handed power. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red Seat Radio. My name is Corbin. For those of you who celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas. It is Christmas Eve, and instead of the Red Sox giving us a nice little present under the tree like we were hoping that they would, instead they are giving us little nuggets as to who they could be exploring and who they could be targeting after the Christmas season is over. And one of the names that popped up in this leak is Teoscar Hernandez, which could be a really interesting fit with the Boston Red Sox, but could also have some really big implications as to what the Red Sox are planning on doing this offseason. So what we're going to do in today's video is we're going to break down this Teoscar Hernandez news. We're going to talk about what it means, how close the Red Sox are to a deal, and how interested they may actually be. Plus, we're going to talk about why the Red Sox are interested in Teoscar Hernandez and what this means for the Boston Red Sox going into 2024 and their plans for the 2024 offseason. But before we get into that, do me a favor. Make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button on this video as well. Helps these videos out a ton, and it would mean a lot to me. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one. Let's get into it. Okay, let's start with the actual report, or rumors if you will, and figure out sort of where the Red Sox are at based on everything we've heard so far about the Red Sox interest in Teoscar Hernandez. And all of this sort of started yesterday when Moses Fabian, the same reporter that broke the Rafael Devers contract extension news, tweeted out that the Red Sox continue to be the team most interested in the services of Teoscar Hernandez. Several calls with great interest. Moses may not be the biggest journalist out there, but he is pretty reliable. He doesn't tend to tweet a lot about major league stuff, but when he does, it tends to be pretty accurate, especially when it comes to Dominican-born baseball players, which Teoscar Hernandez is. Now, this report kind of spiraled a little bit and led to a Boston Strong tweet that tweeted that the Red Sox interest for Teoscar Hernandez is real and serious. They plan on getting a deal done, which by its own, Boston Strong is a big baseball Red Sox account, but at the same time too, there have been times where they haven't been the most reliable of report sources. However, this tweet was then reposted and retweeted by a guy named Hector Gomez, who is a very reliable Dominican Republic baseball reporter, who basically confirmed that the Red Sox were really interested in Teoscar Hernandez. Hector Gomez, again, is a very reliable source, especially when it comes to Dominican-born players like Fabian, who has also been pretty correct and pretty accurate about the goings-on of Dominican players in Major League Baseball. This was then sort of on top of that confirmed by Red Sox beat reporter Chris Cotillo that the Teoscar Hernandez pursuit for the Red Sox is real, but not an imminent deal at this point. I know this is a lot of different reports saying a lot of different things, but if you sort of take the aggregate of everything that we've talked about already here and put it together and try and piece together what it really means, basically what it's saying is that the Red Sox do have some extreme interest in Teoscar Hernandez, that they do want to bring him here, but they aren't that close to a deal yet. That's basically what all of this is saying, which for the Red Sox makes a lot of sense. Now, we've actually already dove into why Teoscar Hernandez could make sense in Boston in a separate video, but just as a bit of a refresher, Teoscar Hernandez's main addition to the Red Sox would be his right-handed power. Last year was a bit of a down year for him, but overall in his career, he has a 261 average with a 316 on base percentage and a 486 slug, good for a 118 OPS plus, or he's been about 18% more productive in the batter's box in his 8 years in baseball than the average player in the game. He also has 5 seasons with 25 plus home runs, and he crushes at Fenway Park. In 45 games at Fenway, he has a 282 average with 344 on base percentage and a really impressive 650 slug, good for a 950 OPS or a 134 OPS plus, or again, 34% above the league average hitter. He also has 14 home runs in those 45 games, which if he were to sign with the Red Sox would equate to about 25 home runs over a full season at home at Fenway Park alone in 81 games, right? If you extrapolate out the 14 home runs, it equals 25. That's a whole lot lot of right-handed power that the Red Sox could really desperately use. And just to make it a little bit more apparent as to how much damage Teoscar Hernandez could do at Fenway, this is a spray chart of Teoscar's 2023 season. Again, it was his down year for Teoscar. He didn't love hitting at T-Mobile Park in Seattle, but if you overlay his season on Fenway Park, immediately there's a couple of things we notice. A lot of those outs, those gray colored baseballs, are over the monster at Fenway Park. They are home runs, right? A lot of those outs are also singles or doubles or triples, depending on where he hits them in the park. His 2023 season, while a down year in terms of his career, would have been fantastic if he were to play at Fenway. It's not all positive when it comes to Teoscar Hernandez, though. There are some drawbacks to bringing him to the Boston Red Sox, and the biggest one is his strikeout rate. In 2023, he struck out about 31.1% of the time, and overall in his career, it's not a whole lot better. Career-wise, in those 8 seasons, he struck out 29.1% of the time. Basically, he strikes out a little bit less than once every 3 at-bats. For the Red Sox, this is an interesting conundrum because when you look at the right-handed power for the Red Sox that's already on the team, Trevor Story and Tyler O'Neill, both of these guys have a similar sort of stat line where both of them have that power potential, but both of them also strike out a bit. Adding Teoscar Hernandez is a lot of strikeout potential from the right-hand side, but again, with the power potential you're gaining, with the fact that he absolutely crushes at Fenway, to me at least, it makes sense why the Red Sox would be willing to give up some of that strikeout potential for that monster power potential. Basically, when we're looking at why the Red Sox are interested in Teoscar Hernandez, it's essentially the same reason they were interested in Adam Duvall, except Teoscar Hernandez is younger than Adam Duvall, and he has a higher ceiling and could be more impactful than Adam Duvall was in 2023. That's a big ask of Teoscar Hernandez, considering how good Adam Duvall was for stretches during this season, but Teoscar tends to be a little bit more consistent overall, and he tends to be a little bit younger, and he's a little bit more durable. So Teoscar Hernandez essentially could be a better version of Adam Duvall. But it's not just the right-handed power that Teoscar Hernandez would be impacting on the Red Sox if he were to come here. In fact, there are some other things that throughout this team he could impact as well. So let's talk about some other implications that could be had with the Red Sox focusing on Teoscar Hernandez. The biggest implication, in my opinion, that this has, the fact that the Red Sox are looking at Teoscar Hernandez probably means the Red Sox may be looking to trade one of their bigger, younger outfielders. If you bring in Teoscar Hernandez, that's 7 outfielders on the Major League roster, with Ceddanne Rafaela fitting in somewhere as well, which would bring this team total to 8 outfielders either on the Major League team or very close to the Major League team. That's just flat out too many outfielders. What this most likely means is that if the Red Sox were to bring in Teoscar Hernandez, they would probably be looking to trade one of their younger players. This is Jarren Duran, Wilyer Abreu, and Ceddanne Rafaela. Of those 3, in my opinion, this might not bode well for Ceddanne Rafaela, who has a similar profile to Teoscar Hernandez with better defense and a little bit more speed, at least potential-wise. The fact that the Red Sox brought in Tyler O'Neill and are looking at Teoscar Hernandez, Ceddanne Rafaela, to me, suddenly becomes one of the more expendable options on the Red Sox roster with really high value, right? Ceddanne Rafaela is a right-handed outfielder. It's clear that the Red Sox don't feel as though he's ready for Major League Baseball with the addition of Tyler O'Neill and the interest of Teoscar Hernandez. They could possibly use Teoscar as a stopgap for a Roman Anthony or someone like that and use Ceddanne Rafaela in order to flip and get some starting pitching that is much needed on this team and doesn't look like it's going to come in free agency. That's probably the biggest implication of Teoscar Hernandez being of extreme interest to the Boston Red Sox. The other one is what they do with Masataka Yoshida. Teoscar Hernandez had a really great defensive season in right field in 2023, but overall in his career, he's not exactly the greatest defender, especially in a right field like Fenway Park. You probably wouldn't trust him to play there every day, which also includes center field as well. He was never really a center fielder. He's always been a corner outfielder, so you probably aren't putting him in center field, which leaves left field, and that most likely means that they're going to probably move Masataka Yoshida into a bit of a more prominent DH role going into 2024 if they are to get a deal done with Teoscar Hernandez. And I don't necessarily think this is a bad thing at all. Masataka Yoshida wasn't exactly the world's greatest defender, and I think Teoscar Hernandez will give you a bit better defense in left field. On top of that, it allows Masataka Yoshida to focus on what he does best, and that is hitting the baseball. Masataka Yoshida doesn't have to worry about fatigue. He doesn't have to worry about improving defensively. He can focus all his efforts on being the best hitter he can be, and to me, that could be a really positive thing for the Boston Red Sox. It also adds a lot of versatility to the DH position. The Red Sox have sort of made this a vocal point of the 2024 offseason that they want to be versatile, that they want to utilize the DH role in more than just one prominent DH. Bringing in Teoscar Hernandez does allow you to do that. You can flip-flop him and Masataka Yoshida in that DH role. You can also play Teoscar Hernandez in right field, probably not at home, but in away stadiums, and be able to sort of utilize that to add in a Wilyer Abreu, a Jarren Duran when need be into your lineup and still have them play every single day while also switching up the outfield defense, right? It brings versatility to this team, and it also really hugely impacts the way the Red Sox view Masataka Yoshida. So there are a couple of pretty big implications that this could have on the Red Sox offseason and regular season specifically if they are really interested in bringing in Teoscar Hernandez. Now, in my opinion, while there are some drawbacks to Teoscar, I think I would be really excited if they signed him to a 2-3 year deal. I think anything more than that, it gets a little sketchy in my head. But again, immediately, Teoscar Hernandez brings that consistent right-handed power that the Red Sox could desperately use. It creates versatility in the DH position, and he's a guy who pretty consistently over his career has been a well above average bat that could be really helpful to the Boston Red Sox. So overall, I really like the idea of bringing in Teoscar Hernandez. Again, not on a super long-term contract or 2 or 3 year deal, in my opinion, would be really beneficial to this team. But that's just my opinion. So let me know in the comment section down below. What do you think of the Red Sox interest in Teoscar Hernandez? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Do you like what it might indicate about the rest of the Red Sox offseason and into the regular season? Do you not like it? Let me know all your thoughts on the Red Sox interest in Teoscar Hernandez in the comment section down below. As always, if you made it to the end of this video, do me a favor. Make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button on this video as well. Helps these videos out a ton, and it would mean a lot to me. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one, and I will see you in the red seats.